a number by the lymphocytes, and then third, according to number, are the monocytes. And then the monocytes are followed by eosinophils. The least in number are basophils. Most of the time, we will not be able to see the basophils in the peripheral blood. Okay, we will begin with the most numerous type of cell in the blood, which is the blood cell, erythrocyte. What is the characteristic shape of the red blood cells?
Biconcave.
Biconcave. And then the concavity or the depression at the center can be seen as an area of central pallor if we are watching the red blood cells on top view. Okay, on top view, the concave portion will be seen as a central area of pallor. What is the reason for the red cells assuming that shape? To increase the surface area for the diffusion of gases. Because what is the function of the red cells? Transport. Aside from oxygen, what is that other gas transported by? Carbon dioxide. Now, what particular component of the red cells will impart them that capability to transport gases? Hemoglobin. So, the red cells are red because their cytoplasm contain hemoglobin, which is a protein. Now, are the red cells possessing nucleus? Wala. Bakit? Bakit walang nuclei ang mga red cells? What is the function of the nucleus of our cells? Okay, it houses the genetic material or the DNA molecules which are mainly responsible for the control of the entire activity of the cell. So, the red cells do not possess nucleus because they are performing one type of function only. And then after they reach their expected lifespan, which is how many days?
20
days, they will die, they will eventually die, and then they do not possess the capacity to multiply and produce their own, except their precursors in the bone marrow. Now, hindi na nila kailangan mag-isip dahil isa lang talaga ang function nila. Transport gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Once the organelle or once the components which are responsible for transporting gases inside the cytoplasm of the red cells are already complete, tinatanggal na yung command for hemoglobin synthesis, yung nag-control ng command for synthesizing hemoglobin. That is why tinatanggal ng kanilang nucleus in order also para ma-free ang kanilang cytoplasm to accommodate the hemoglobin and the gases. So what is the usual size of the red cells?
7 to 9 micrometers.
Okay, so 6 to 8.
6 to 8.
What is the unit?
Micrometers.
Microns or micrometer. So what is the usual size of the diameter of the lumen of the capillaries? Common type of, remember there are 3 types of capillaries. Common type of capillary. 8 microns lang din. So that at one single time, the capillaries can allow the entry of one column or one line of cells only because of the diameter, the size of the diameter of their lumen. Now, if you want to assess the size of the red cells, we will use the nucleus, the size of the nucleus of that white blood cell. So, anong tawag sa white blood cell na nakapoint? That is a lymphocyte. What is the characteristic shape of the nucleus of a lymphocyte? What is the shape of the nucleus of that cell? Round. And then how will you describe the color of the nucleus or the characteristic of the chromatin content? So the nucleus is dark because the chromatin, which is the condensed form of the DNA materials, the chromatins are condensed. So nag-aggregate with each other, causing that dark color of the nucleus of the lymphocyte. Usual size of the nucleus of a lymphocyte is also 6 to 8 microns. This is why, if you want to assess the size of the red cells, use the nucleus of that cell as the reference. Because, have you heard about iron deficiency anemia? The red cells will become small in iron deficiency anemia. And then, what type of anemia will develop in vitamin B12 and folic acid deficiency?
Pernicious.
Okay, so pernicious anemia, which will produce large red cells, larger than 8 microns. So we have already discussed the morphology of the red cells and then the lymphocytes. Okay? Identify that cell pointed. What can you say about the shape of the nucleus? Is it round?
No. Kidney shape.
No. So we are able to see several segments. Actually, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. What type of cell will have that characteristic appearance? The neutrophils. So usually, we will be able to see 3 to 5 segments in the nucleus of the neutrophils. And then what is the function of the neutrophil? First line of defense against what type of infection? Viral, bacterial, protozoal? Okay, bacterial infection. So it is easy to identify them because of the characteristic shape of their nucleus. Segmented and not uniform. That cell, that white blood cell in the middle is also a young cell na yan is also a neutrophil. So they do not display uniformity in the shape and the number of segments of their nuclei. Okay, identify that cell. Lymphocyte. How about that cell?
Neutrophil.
Neutrophil. Okay. Now, that cell is showing us an almost round nucleus with scant cytoplasm. That is also a lymphocyte. There are 2 types of lymphocytes in circulation. Small lymphocyte and then the large lymphocyte. How about that leukocyte? Anong cell yan? What is the shape of its nucleus? Is it round? No. Mayroong segmentation. So that cell is a neutrophil. May peripheral blood smear sa box ninyo. Okay. So What cell is that?
Neutrophil.
A neutrophil. Okay, this is a neutrophil because its nucleus is segmented. And then kindly observe the characteristic of the cytoplasm. Okay? So almost clean looking ang cytoplasm ng mga neutrophils, although in reality, the cytoplasm of the neutrophils contain two types of granules, which are the azurophilic and the specific granules.
Azurophilic.
That was the neutrophil that we have described already. So focus on the cytoplasm of that cell, and then, okay, that was the neutrophil that we have described, and then shift your attention now to that cell. What can you say about the shape of the nucleus of that cell?
Oblong.
Oblong?
Ay, yes.
It is also segmented. So just like the nucleus of
Segmented siya.
the neutrophil. However, what can you say about the color of the cytoplasm now?
Darker than
there are
before.
darker granules. Actually, ilang maganda ang projection ng device natin. Those granules are orange-brown in color. So that cell should be called as the eosinophil. Okay? That's the appearance of an eosinophil. You will be able to identify them for sure because of the color of the granules in their cytoplasm. Orange, bright orange granules as compared to the almost colorless characteristic of the cytoplasm of the neutrophils. Now, because the basophils are the least in number in circulation, they are seldomly seen in peripheral blood smears. So I will have to advise you to study their morphology in your atlas na lang. So just like the neutrophils and the eosinophils, the basophils will also display segmented nuclei. However, you will not, most of the time, be able to see the outline of their nuclei because their granules are large in size. Halos matabunan na nila ang lahat ng contents ng cytoplasm. And then, if the color of the granules of the eosinophils is orange, the color of the granules of the basophils is violet. Hence, ito na ang basophil. What granule is imparting that orange color to the cytoplasm of the eosinophil? Azurophilic or specific? Very good, specific. How about for the basophils? Specific granules pa rin. And then, yung maliliit na particles na yan, they are the platelets. Can we consider the platelets as cells? Okay, they are actually fragments of what large cell in the bone marrow? The megakaryocytes. Another type of white blood cell. Is it displaying around nucleus? No, there is an indentation on one side of the nucleus that is the characteristic shape of what type of leukocyte? The nucleus of what type of leukocyte? The monocyte. So, bean shape or indented nucleus or sometimes horseshoe shape ang kanilang nucleus. Then aside from the characteristic feature of the shape of their nucleus, they can also be identified as a monocyte because of their large size. They are the largest cell in circulation. Identify that leukocyte, a lymphocyte. So observe the size of that cell relative to the size of the adjacent red blood cells, the size of their nucleus, and then the volume of the cytoplasm, which is very scant. Okay, that leukocyte should be called as a neutrophil. So, that is a neutrophil, that is a large lymphocyte. That is not a monocyte. Kasi, very scant ang volume ng kanyang cytoplasm and its size is almost the same with the size of a neutrophil. A monocyte is a much larger cell. How about that leukocyte? Lymphocyte. Ang monocyte. That should be what is that?
Monocyte.
A monocyte. Notice the characteristic shape of the nucleus. And then the moderate volume of cytoplasm. And then compare its size to red cells. Okay, masyado siyang malaki. That's a monocyte. So those are the cells which you should be able to identify for this activity. The cellular elements of the blood. Do you have any question? Okay, so then our next quizzes coverage will be the blood cells. Now, our next topic for the next laboratory session is the bone marrow. The bone marrow, the morphology of the cells composing the bone marrow. So it will be very difficult to jump immediately to the smear of a bone marrow aspirate without first discussing to you how to identify the cells of the bone marrow. Because as you will discover in this coming Monday's lecture, there are many cells present. There are many types of stem cells present in the bone marrow. And then it is very difficult to identify them. So that, saan kayo na room nag-lecture?
207. Annex ba?
Ayan, ito pala. Saksak ng USB dito. Sige. next meeting we will, okay, meron pa lang tayo,